This is the Athlete and Artist Show presented by BSGG. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support the podcast. If you could please subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Athlete and Artist Show. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you and enjoy the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Athlete and Artist Show. I am the artist Kyle Forge alongside my co-host, professional hockey player Zach Boychuk. Today, we have a great guest in the building. He is a former professional hockey player for the St. Louis Blues and the New Jersey Devils. He was the OHL's most penalized player in his rookie year and was an OHL champion with the Guelph Storm. He is the host of the Cam Strick Podcast. Please welcome Mr. Cam Janssen. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
What up? What up, guys? What's going on?
Just chilling out here in Calgary, man. Just waiting for Stampede in a couple weeks.
You guys, yeah, man, it's tough. How the wildfires up there? It's really hazy. So I guess the smoke found its way down to St. Louis, and it's been hazy down here. They getting that under control? I know it's pretty hardcore up there.
Yeah, it's been I think probably about a month and a half ago now. Maybe it was like an apocalypse here, just with all the smoke and stuff. So I saw a couple weeks ago it hit New York, and it's crazy. It's moving all the way over to you guys now too.
Weird sunsets, man, watching that. But yeah, Calgary. You mentioned Calgary. I know you guys are going through a little bit of as far as being Calgary Flames fans, a little tough ride right now with the guys not wanting to sign there and stuff like that. So, hey, listen, you'll get over it. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I've been a lifelong Flames fan, so it's tough to see. But I mean, I probably give them the hardest time out of anybody too, with being a fan my entire life. So, Matthew Tkachuk was my favorite player in the league, and I thought he was the heart and soul of the team. And then it hurt when he didn't want to re-sign. I understood, but I was like, damn, man. But I thought the trade was kind of brutal for Calgary, to be honest with you. I mean, and now it looks brutal this season too.
At least he was honest. At least Matty was honest about it and said, hey, look, I'm not going to do it. You got time to do what you have to do. So I kind of like that and respect that as well.
For sure. Yeah, the whole thing with Johnny, I had heard for 3 or 4 years that he didn't want to stay in Calgary. So, and everyone kind of took it as a surprise. I'm like, they should have traded him 3 or 4 years ago when that rumor was flying around, when they still could have got something for him.
Yeah. Now he's in Columbus. Oh, okay. They're making moves there. Maybe he wants to be in the States, but maybe Calgary's a little too much for him. You are in the spotlight. You're in the spotlight everywhere you go. It's hardcore. Daryl's not easy to deal with, or he wasn't easy to deal with. But now you're in Columbus. Okay, you can probably walk down the street, do your thing. They're trying to rebuild. You're making a lot of money. You'll be fine.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you see those guys out at Cactus Club or Cowboys or whatever. It's girls won't leave them alone. Or that's the drunk guys fun. Running up to them, chirping them or getting pictures, whatever. It's
yeah, the chirping at the bar. You're like, okay, whatever. Okay, yeah. I suck tonight. Sorry. It's all good.
For sure. So Cam, I mean, let's get into your career real quick. You played major junior like Zach here. He played in the Dub. You played in the O. But you started out in the North American Hockey League, which is kind of like Canada's Junior A. I would compare it to. What was your thought process in terms of, moving from kind of that NAHL level to major junior rather than going the college route?
Well, first off, I'm from not St. Louis, Missouri, but I'm from Eureka, Missouri, which is 45 miles away, in the middle of nowhere, in the woods. We didn't know. I'm the first generation hockey player in my family, but my dad would take me down to Blues games when I was a kid, and I'd watch Brett Hall play, and I'm like, God, that's awesome. Tony Twist and Kelly Chase, piss pumping guys. I'm like, that is cool. He took me to Cardinal games, and he took me to Blues games. I got obsessed with hockey because of that. And then I started rollerblading. I'm just going to give you I started rollerblading, and because you can't skate outside in the wintertime unless you want to die, because you'll fall through eventually because it's 70 degrees the next day. So I had a rollerblade, and everything happened fast. My dad signed me up at 9 years old, and 2 years later I was playing AAA hockey. And then right after 3 years of AAA hockey for the AAA Blues, traveling all over the place and going up to Canada and stuff like that. Then I made the North American St. Louis Sting team when I was a freshman in high school, and I had to fight everybody. And it was like a little wake up call to kind of get my groove. So it kind of went boom, boom, boom. And then I got drafted. I was somebody called me up and said, "Hey, Cam, the Windsor Spitfires are going to draft you in the Ontario Hockey League." And me and my dad are like, "What the fuck? What's that?" They're like, "Oh, it's in Canada. It's one of the best leagues in the world. You got to go up there." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, do we move there?" "No, you stay with the Billet family." I'm like, "What's that?" Like everything was just just like we're like me and my dad are like, "Look, we just got to figure this out." All right, what do we do? We got to go here. Okay, fine. And it worked out, man. So that's kind of how like the story how I started to get to juniors real quick, so you guys know. But it was
So
crazy.
you were fighting guys all the way in high school, like, so you would have been, how old were you? You would have been then?
15, 16, fighting monsters. Yes, dude.
Even out west, I don't think guys were fighting in high school. You had to wait till juniors. You had to wait till, WHL. That's wild. I mean, American hockey must be something different.
No, I didn't play. It's not high school. This wasn't high school hockey. I'm talking when I played juniors in the North American Hockey League, going to high school. And
I gotcha.
I played juniors here. Yes, no. We didn't even have a high school hockey team, dude. No one even knew what the hell hockey really was besides the Blues, where I'm from. And so, but we did have a AAA team, and there was youth hockey here. But no, I'm talking about going to high school at Eureka High School. But I was also playing for the St. Louis Sting, and my buddies from high school would come all gather around and watch me play, and I'd be fighting guys. And I was like the youngest kid on the team by like 2 years. Like a child. I was a child fighting grown men.
So was that kind of just an automatic thing for you? Like you're just like, this is what I got to do to stick, or?
No, I didn't know the game, and I was a good skater, and I was a hitter. I was good at hitting, but like I was crazy. I liked fighting, man. I did. I grew up. My brother had older buddies, and I'd always like tangle with them, show them that stuff. So it was always in my blood. My mom and dad were tough, So that wasn't like I got to do it to stay. No, man. I wanted to do it. I wanted to be like Twister. I wanted to be like Chaser when I was a kid watching them. Like I want to be that. And so I had to, and then you got to kind of hone your skills. So I got to get the puck off the wall. I still got to like be able to fucking pass to somebody. Yeah. So like you got to kind of all tie it together. But yeah, no, I was always crazy.
Did you ever fight in roller hockey, or is there not much of that going on?
When I first started, this was roller hockey. You rollerblade around everywhere, and there's roller hockey teams. But yeah, like stupid fights. But I started to when I was right when I started playing juniors. I went into a guy I know owned a boxing gym, an MMA gym, and my dad was like, "Hey, let's get you in there, learn how to punch. You're going to be dealing with some big guys. I know you're wild right now, and you don't know let's get in there. They'll teach you how to throw." So my dad dropped me off when I was like 16 at this MMA gym, which is like the most intimidating thing ever, by the way. If you ever walk into an MMA gym, everybody's walking around with like cauliflower ear. Everybody's tough. It's kind of intimidating. I'm like, and they were so nice to me. And we started boxing with them, learning things. And then we created our own fight simulation, hockey fight simulation. And I'd be with all these tough guys, and I'd bring other NHL guys in there from St. Louis, like Brandon Bolig and Reed Lowe would be boxing with me, Patty Maroon to come in there and box. So we kind of created this like fighting hockey fight club, and you just learn a lot, and it's a great workout. So once you grab on a guy, I'm like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I felt good. I could throw with my left. So that really helped out a lot too. Walking in that MMA gym.
Did you
Jesse
guys?
Finney, I'll give you a little shout out.
How did you guys kind of work that? Did you put your skates on like in the gym just with your guards on and work on balance, or did you just grab onto each other and throw?
No, Bosu balls.
Okay.
Well, I got some of it's on YouTube. Bosu ball, like work on bam, 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 and then Patty and I or whoever would have towels around, tape it up, and grab on and have a boxing glove, and kind of walk around with no shoes on because you're on mats, and kind of throw and get your rhythm and switch. And we'd have 8-ounce gloves on so you could actually switch and go back and forth that way and go for like a minute, and it'd wear you out so bad. Yeah, that kind of stuff. You got to be creative.
That's awesome. So that was kind of going into your first year of Windsor. Yeah.
And then I went to in Windsor, and I didn't get it at school. I basically dropped out in ninth grade. I knew what I was doing. I mean, you really don't know. But I'm like, I'm so focused. My parents knew I was focused, although my mom was kind of confused. She didn't really get it yet, but my dad did. So like I kind of dropped out of school. So when I'm in Windsor, I'm playing, I'm working out, I'm partying. School was just to wheel chicks, really. But I met up with some hardcore boxers there. And I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and drive over the Ambassador Bridge to the hardcore part of Detroit. And I'd box with some badass dudes. And I do that. And then you go to school or whatever, practice. I kind of did what I wanted up there, to be honest with you. You know, Zachy. They didn't have control over us. And then I signed and shit. And like, I got money. You know you're leaving. You know you're going to play in American League. You're not going to go your overage year. And so I kind of did what I wanted. I was a good teammate and all that stuff, but like they had no control over me up there.
So college was never an option at all. You were going straight to major junior.
Right to major, yes, right to major junior. So I was a good student all the way up till I said, "Fuck the world, I'm playing hockey," and I just focus everything on that, which is stupid. It's stupid, but it worked out. It worked out.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it did. So you got drafted right after your first year of Windsor, correct? At the end of that 01-02 year. So what did it feel like? I mean, everything seems like it happened so quickly for you in terms of hockey, and just it was next step. Yeah. So what did it feel like going into, you know, that draft week and that draft day? And were you even thinking that you had a chance of getting drafted that year, or did it come as a surprise? Yeah.
Man, I caused a lot of attention that year. I caused a lot, you know, like I was wild, dude. I was crushing guys. 45 fights, you know, had like 25 points, but I was loud. And my agent's like, "Oh, you're going to get drafted." I'm like, "You sure?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we're going to the thing. We're going to meet with all these teams." I remember meeting with, you know, I didn't know what to wear. I don't have a suit. I don't know what the fuck. I'm like, And I went about 6 o'clock in the morning. I met with Lou Lamoriello in this tight little office somewhere. And I remember, like, I walk in and I'm like, "Oh, whoa!" Everybody's just staring at me with their glasses kind of down like this, you know. And exactly, you know what I'm talking about with that. Like when you walk in, everybody's kind of like, "Come on in, son." You're like, Jesus. And so I talked to Lou, and he's like, "What kind of player do you think you are?" I go, I think like Ty Domi. He goes, "We don't like Ty Domi." I'm like, "Oh God," because Domi that year, I think like punched Niedermeyer and knocked him out in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And like got suspended and knocked out Niedermeyer for the playoffs. So I'm like, "Oh, Ty Domi," and he's like, "No, we don't like him." I'm like, "Oh God." So it was very intimidating. But I'm like, okay, the Devils are very interested. You go on through the other teams and stuff like that. But I remember like being in the draft. I know the Devils are interested. And I'm sitting there with my mom and dad, my billet family, my agent, Aaron Niddle, who played for the Windsor Spitfires with me. And he was, you know, everybody was thinking about he's going to get drafted in the third round, second to third or whatever. But I'm sitting there, I'm waiting. Maybe I was going to go in the second, which is kind of stupid to think about now because it'd be dumb for somebody to draft me in the second round. But you think you're better when you are at that age. So I remember sitting there, and third round comes around. And the Devils go up there. And my dad looks at me like, "Here it goes. Here it is, baby. It's happening." And they go, "From the Windsor Spitfires." And me and my dad jump up like, "Yes, Aaron Niddle." And I'm like, "Oh, yay, Mitzi. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm so happy for you." And then finally, a round later, that I got drafted, and me and my dad went crazy. My mom went crazy. And it was cool, man. And then I had a party back home. My mom and dad got stuck in Detroit. My agent flew me back, had a party at the house. Cops came. My brother's like, my brother just got drafted. So you're good. Just keep it down. I'm like, okay. So it was cool, man. I remember it big time.
Was that like a joint party with your teammate or?
No, it's just like I went home back to Eureka.
Oh, you went way back to Eureka. Gotcha.
Yeah, you got drafted into the NHL. What? I go, yes. They're like, "I don't believe you." I'm like, "Look at all this Devils gear I have. You think I just bought it?" Like no one even knew what that even meant. Like they're like, "What?" Like, I didn't even know you're that good. Like a lot of people that your close buddies did. But, you know, you can brag about yourself all you want. You couldn't look up anything at the time. My close buddies would come watch me play, but no one else really understood. And I'm like, "No, here it is. I got drafted." And so it was really cool, man. It was really cool.
That's awesome. I mean, since it's draft day, like what advice would you kind of give kids going into the draft, whether it's, you know, whether they're a projected first round or whatever round they are, to the advice going into this week, or I guess today, at the time of this recording?
Be yourself, be funny. Like, you don't need to be a robot. Just be yourself. Don't be too confident. Don't be too cocky. You still haven't done shit yet. So all y'all know. I don't care who you are, Connor Bedard, anything. Like, yeah, you got accolades as a kid, World Juniors, but you haven't done shit in the NHL yet. So just remember that. There's guys that played 15 years in that locker room. They made a ton of money. You can't go in there and act like you're hot shit yet. Just play. Have your confidence. You're still a rookie. You know what I mean? Like, you still have a lot of stuff to work on. I'm telling you, that NHL, that big jump, there's a lot of little things. And I'd say respect your older teammates. Get to know your older teammates. Don't just hang out with the young kids. Go out with the older guys. Pick their brain. Let them teach you stuff. Go out to dinner with them. That's what I did. I'm not hanging out with Zach Parisi. Love him. But he didn't know anything at the time when we were young. We're two rookies. Like, he didn't know the city. No, I want to hang out with Gomez and Marty and Grant Marshall and Colin White and go to dinner with them. A, they'll pay for it. B, you learn about your team because they know everything. You know the town. You meet people. Am I wrong on that, Zachy?
No, that's right. I mean, typically most of the young guys kind of hang out together and the older guys hang out together. But, you know, the successful teams, when it crosses over and like everybody's going to dinner together and everybody's hanging out, going out for beers, like those are the best teams that I've been a part of.
Yes. But as a kid, I was 20, 21 years old. Even at 20, playing in the American League during the lockout in 04. I don't know if you played that. How old are you, by the way, Zach?
I'm an 89, so a few years younger.
Okay, no, yeah. But during that 04 lockout, like I would spend money to sit in the back of the bus with the older guys because they knew what the hell was going on with Lou, with the team, with other stuff. You could pick their brain. So I'd lose money back there because I didn't know how to gamble, but I'm sitting back there with the guys. And then like even like going out there, I would force my way to get on the back of the plane with the guys. I would force my way to go out to dinner with all the older guys because I wanted to hang out with them. It's tough for a young kid to be like, I'm hanging with, but you have to do that. I'm telling you, you'll learn so much more when you're hanging out with guys that have been through it for so long. They just got to accept you.
Did they accept you pretty quick, or was it kind of a battle to get them to? Was there like a lot of hazing that went on, or did they bring you in pretty good?
I was a little cocky. I got a lot of attention quick, right? And I was a fourth liner, but I was doing funny, cool fight stuff where the crowd loved it, and I got a little cocky, and some of the guys had put me in my place. Some of the guys had put me in my place, and I needed that. And I look back, I'm like, God, yes. Like, because when you're hanging with the guys, you see, no, you're still a rookie. You're still a rookie. So a couple times, you know, Jamie Langenbrunner, Marty, they put me in my place. I'm like, oh, God, sorry. And like they slow you down a little bit, and you learn from it. And then when I got older, when I was playing for the Blues, I'd bring out all the young kids. I'm like, I know this town. This is my town. I'm going to take care of you guys. I'd take out all the guys, show them, talk to them, have them spend the night in my house, play video games till 3 o'clock in the morning with them during the summertime when they had to go to prospect camp or whatever. You know, not like so they go to, you know, next day they're like hungover. No, just like we knew when to go out, but I always take care of the young guys.
What was some of the stuff that you were doing that was like the funny, cocky fight stuff that those guys had to kind of bring you in a little bit?
Staying out, wheeling girls, like just like talky in the locker room too much, maybe,
yeah.
and you know, like just you know, you become popular quick, and you forget where you sit in the in like the structure of the team, and I'm way down below, and sometimes you got to just like know that, you know, like there's guys that are scoring goals, but I get attention because I got no. It's just you just gotta know where you're at, and you know, like I was just a little loud, but I think they understood that, and I would never back out for anybody. Like they respected the hell out of me because I'm killing guys and I fight everybody, and no one even have to tell me to do anything. No one ever said, Cam, that would never. No one did anything. We never got bullied around. So you feel bigger than what you are when you're kind of the protector guy, you know. But in reality, you're a fourth line guy. Sit down a little bit, you know.
Who are some of the young guys on the Blues that you kind of like took under your wing and kind of showed the ropes a little bit?
I mean, tons of guys, and guys that didn't even make it. But Ryan Reeves is one of them. Patty when he was young, although he didn't play for the Blues, but like all the St. Louis kids that grew up, Clayton Keller to Frederick, all those guys would skate with all of us all the time. And when I was playing for the Blues, I'd take out like Anthony Peluso to whoever wanted to go. They would be Brett Sonne, who didn't make it, but like this guys like that didn't matter who you were. Like, hey man, let me show you. Let me introduce you to people. Let me show you what we do here. Like, you want to make the NHL? Look what I get to do. Watch me walk into this bar and high five everybody. And everybody's like buying you beer. Like, hell yeah. You want to make it? Like, look what you get, man. Like that kind of stuff. You know, it's probably a little crazy, and I think a couple more underage, but it's all good. But yeah, like I had Ryan Reeves spending at my house watching hockey fights. Like, dude, this is what I did on this guy. It's pretty funny. He makes fun of me for it now, but at the time, like if I'm a young kid, I'd want somebody to take me under their wings and show me around. Like, God, yeah, I loved doing that.
So what are your thoughts on a guy like Trevor Zegras, who comes in, he's automatically like the loud guy, kind of big personality, different role, but you know, he's that guy that just never stops talking.
Well, he's the best player on a team, you know.
Fair.
Like, you're the best player on a team, you get leeway, a lot more leeway. I like Trevor, dude. We had him on the podcast. He's hilarious. His dad texted me because he got pissed at me because I thought Zegras said something different to that one kid, and it kind of blew up. Like, hey, your dad's watching, but it had nothing to do with that. It was something different. Remember that? Remember that incident? I forgot who it was against, but it looked like he said, maybe I spoke out of tune, and his dad called me. He's like, no, he would never do that. And I'm like, okay, and I apologize.
Yeah.
I like that kid. So if Ryan Getzlaf was there, like, you just need a guy like that when you have a superstar that's loud, that gets under people's skin a little bit, and kind of causes. And I like his style, but you have to have a captain with a lot of clout to settle him down. And right now, I don't think they do. I got to look at their lineup. There might be a couple guys, but I just think you need that when you got a young superstar that's still learning his way.
I met him in Nashville too. He's the nicest kid, like the nicest kid.
He's great
to everybody around him.
My business partner Andy Strickland, and he doesn't like to do this, and I don't like to take advantage of people either for stuff. But like his kid little Ty, cute little kid, little boy, he's good at hockey. His buddy's driving a hockey, and they keep talking about Zegras, and Andy's like, oh, I don't like to do this, but you know what? I'm gonna text Zegras, see if he can FaceTime for 5 seconds. He texted Trevor Zegras 2 seconds later, literally. What do you need? Call me right now. I got you. Boom. Called him, put it on, gave it to little Ty in the back of the truck, and they're talking to Trevor. He's talking for 15 minutes. Like,
that's awesome.
I don't give a shit what you do on the ice. I don't care what you say to people, to be honest. Like, you say something crazy, it's like, chill out. I don't care if you whack a guy here and there, but if you're nice to kids like that, and you're good off the ice, and you're outgoing to people, that goes so far, dude. That helped me in St. Louis so much. I'm so outgoing. I'll talk to everybody like I've known them for 18 years. And I'm just telling you, that's another thing you tell to these young kids. Just be nice to them. Even if they say some kind of goofy to you, sometimes they don't know what they're saying. Hey, Cam, when's the last time you scored? Like, what? Hey, I love you, though. Like, I love you. I'm just joking with you. Like, sometimes they don't know how to phrase what they're saying because they're nervous. Be nice to the fans. They will love you forever. I'm telling you.
So how did the Cam and Strick podcast come together? You said you're doing a radio show now too. Like, you really sounds like you made a good transition into something that you're pretty good at and good personality talking.
Well, I got the personality thing, thank God, because I didn't know shit about sports. No, I didn't. I was so focused on myself for the past, like, when you're playing. I didn't care about baseball. I didn't give a shit about this. I didn't care about hockey that much. I just cared about myself and what I was doing. So I never, unless it was like, I got into politics and stuff, I just want to know what's going on in the world. Like, I'm interested in, like, weather and history and stuff like that more than sports. So it was a weird dynamic, but I got radio offers right when I was retiring. I was going to play over in England, but I got radio offers for ESPN 101 here, and that's like sports, college football, college women's WNBA. I'm like, what? And it's like boom, boom, boom. And I went down there, try it out, and I was really good with personality, but I didn't know shit, and so I couldn't interview people and stuff like that. But then this other station called me and threw me on a show with a bunch of people, and it's more like loosey goosey kind of state. You can do what you want. It's not really structured. And finally, I did that, and I loved it. But then I got my own show for past 4 years. I like hosting. I like to be in control. And so I do 7 to 10 every morning called Hot Take Central in St. Louis on 590 The Fan. And I'm with a TV broadcaster, 2 TV broadcasters that are hilarious and very smart. I like to surround myself with smart people. You know what I mean? Like they know what's going on in the world. They know how to break down, taxes to this to that. They're just overall smart people, educated, and we chirp each other the whole time, and it's fun, man. I found my groove doing that. And then Andy and I podcast. The Blues just won the cup. We're like, we got to do that. Everybody, look at Chicklets, like they're dominating. Like let's see if we could do our thing. We'll have our own style. We don't need to be them. We don't need to be missing curfew. We don't need to be this. We don't need to be you guys. We got our own style. And I've known him for a while, and he knows all these guys. He's got a big Rolodex. So we get owners, we get GMs, we get coaches, not just players, and we're funny. And I chirp the shit out of him because he annoys the hell out of me, and people like it.
Where's he from? Like, how did you guys get connected?
From St. Louis, and he was a blogger when I was playing for the Blues, and he worked his way up, to TV. And he knows the ownership great, and the Blues bring him down to Nashville, and they're like his guy, and he talks to all these people all the time. He's always on the phone, and and he stuck out for me a couple of times. I remember when I went through a couple weird things during my career, and he was like the only one that stuck out for me. I'm like, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that, dude. And I didn't. And now we're teaming up, and we're doing good, man. Although I want to kill him once in a while.
That's the same with every partnership though, or friendship. It's I mean, you have the great times, and you have those times where you guys are just like, holy fuck, shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure
like, he knows everything hockey. Like everything. He knows how the CBA works. He knows every one of these draft picks that are coming up. I know him. I don't really watch him. I watch World Juniors, and you see a kid, you'll know everything about that. You'll know who got drafted in 03 and 46 overall. He'll know the careers of every player, every GM, every coach, every agent, all that. I'm an entertainer. I entertain. Sometimes we'll talk for an hour and a half, and I'll talk about that goddamn submarine that went down with those billionaires on it, and how fucked up that whole situation was. That interests me. There might be a volcano in Sweden that killed a bunch of people. I'm going to talk about that. Stuff like that. Like, that's where I come in. And of course, I played 10 years in the show, so I have my hockey. I could talk about certain things, but he ties it all together. He knows everything that's going on with this draft and stuff like that. So we complement each other great, because you can't just talk hockey the whole time when you go for 3 hours. There's crazy shit going on. And I come in there and tell crazy stories like, this is what I think's going on, blah, blah. And he does. And then we go back and forth with hockey, and it works out.
That's awesome. You had a funny clip recently on the Strick. I think it was a couple months ago, but you were talking, I think it was McIntyre who was on your show. And you were telling a story about when you and Revo were on the ice, and he comes up and he's just like, all he says is, "Daddy's home." And I was started dying.
I love that dude. He is a cowboy. Steve McIntyre is a shit-kicking, real-life cowboy. Follow him on Instagram. Follow all of us. Follow him, dude. He is up in Saskatchewan, fucking wrangling shit, walking around like this, like on a horse. Like, this looks. He's a cowboy, dude. He's the nicest, coolest dude in the world. I love that guy. But fuck, was he scary. And I remember being in St. Louis, and I'll tell a story real quick about me and Reaver on the ice doing our thing. We're playing Edmonton. I fought Vandermeer already. Shit's going down. Reaver and I are causing shit. And Stevie Mac comes on the ice, 6'5", brick shithouse cowboy. And he skates up to us, the 10-2, the T-stop, like you don't give a fuck, T-stop. And he looks at both of us and goes, "Daddy's home." And I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, help me. I go, Reaver, and like me and Reaver were like, we're good. And like I don't really turn down fights. Like I truly don't. But that time, I was just like, fuck you big motherfucker. But it was funny, man. Daddy's home. Like that's when you say something like that, that's when you know you run the show.
Have you ever dreamt about calling the shots in the betting world? Well, welcome to BSGG, where you can bet, swap, and play. BSGG is the first of its kind Web3 blockchain-based decentralized betting exchange. Here you have the power to be the bookie and set your own odds. Say goodbye to hidden fees, long waiting times, and the uncertainties of traditional betting platforms. With BSGG, it's a peer-to-peer experience, eliminating the need for any third party. Experience a betting platform like no other, where every stake is transparent and you can see exactly how your odds are calculated. This is the future of betting, where you hold the reins. But hold on, we are not done yet. Brace yourselves for BSGG's version 2.0, the massive upgrade to the platform. This enhancement brings the thrill of betting even to those without crypto knowledge, with the simple use of a credit card, bank transfer, or crypto deposit. And for the first time ever, an online casino with live dealers and plenty of slots right at your fingertips. The new upgrade simplifies the betting experience, allowing those with no crypto knowledge to jump right into the action in seconds. Join us today at bs.gg. Be the bookie, set your own odds, and experience betting like never before. Yeah. Did you ever end up scrapping them? Either before or after that?
I fought him in the minors.
Yeah.
They always had like I always fight Vandermeer. I would have fought him. Like I never fought him, Bugard, and LaRock. But like everybody else I did. It's just weird. Like I never crossed paths. Like the Bugard thing I could have probably done one time. But like he would have been tough for me. Like it would have been really hard to fight either one of them. But especially Bugard, just when you're 6'6", I can still get you. But when you're 6'8", I'm like, it's just fucking he's gonna punch through me. It's just tough. But I would have done it.
How tall are you? Like you're obviously not 6'6" or 6'8", but you probably weighed like pretty close to what they weighed. Like you're just like a fire hydrant.
Yeah, I mean, I was built like I was jacked when I was a kid, but I was still 5'11" and 3/4 to be honest at 215, and those guys are 250, 60. It's a big weight gap. But yeah, like you just have to have a style with those cats, man. Like the big guys, you can't just go toe to toe with them. They're gonna catch you. You gotta protect yourself. So you have to have a style. So no, I was small for a heavyweight,
Who was the toughest guy that you ended up scrapping, would you say, throughout your career?
I mean, dude. They're all fucking tough, dude. From Trevor Gillies to Matt McGrattan to Stevie McIntyre to, even the guys like Jared Bull, tough as shit. Uppercut. He's an awesome guy, by the way. Like, there's a ton of guys, man. They're all Colton Orr, Eric Goddard. Ugh. Tougher than shit, dude. Like, meaning those guys, you don't just create that tough. Like, their ancestors were probably fucking warlords back in the day. Shit kicker, going to fucking, like pillaging England. They're probably Vikings or something, like that's tough, that's in your blood, man, from like your ancestors. That's how tough those guys are. They didn't just like happen. I bet you their grandfathers were tougher than shit too, like those guys were, you look at it like you got your military tough guys, you got your UFC guys, and then you got your old school hockey shit kicking Canadian, North American badass dudes, man. I put them all like 1, 2, 3 there.
Did you ever fight Morasti or any of those tough guys in the minors?
Oh yeah, I'm not Morasti. He's another awesome dude. No, I never really crossed paths with him. Minors, it's weird because you're kind of playing the same teams and your thing. It's like, oh, what a grind that is. But I ran through, dude. That lockout year in 2004, me and McGrattan both tied. We both had like 45 fights apiece. And he had 550 minutes of penalties. I had like 380 because he kept getting 10-minute misconducts at the end of games, and I called him out for it. And he knows it too because he wanted to get that penalty. You know what I'm talking about. He chirped the ref would give him a fucking 10. I'm like, God damn it. I'm trying to catch you. But yeah, dude, during that lockout, God, every other night you're just going somebody you don't know, some dude from the East Coast or something. Like, I gotta look at all my, like, so many different guys that you ran through over the years, man. It's crazy. All good dudes though. They really, really are. Like, for the most part, there's not many guys that aren't good dudes.
What would you say your most memorable fight was? Because we recently had on Prusty, and we talked about the line brawl at the beginning of the game when you were playing for the Devils. He was playing for New York, and that he said that was probably one of his. So I'm interested to see, would that be the same for you, and what was your the view on that situation from your side?
Well, that situation, that was just like, everybody's like, God, they must have talked about that building up. No. We're in the locker room. Me, Bolts, and Eric Bolton, who is just the funniest son of a bitch over me. You know Bolts, Zachy?
No, played against him quite a bit, but
so fucking fun, dude. He was one of my best buddies in hockey at the time. Anyway, so we're sitting in the locker room in MSG, and Pete DeBoer's like, hey, you guys are starting. We look at each other like, hey, I bet you're gonna put out Prusty and Rupper and whoever. I go, let's fucking go. Let's do something, baby. Let's go. You want to? We're like, okay, let's go. And then warm-ups, we kind of look at each other like spinning the stick, like, you want to do it? You want to do it? All right. And so they started us, they started them, and we're like, let's go. We doing it. Okay, here we go. We're putting on a show. So it was just like that. Like, it wasn't like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. It was more like, oh, they're starting us. Oh, hey, let's fucking line brawl. That's what it was. But that was probably the most popular one. But my most memorable one was in 2007. I was still a kid, and I knocked out Thomas Cabaret with a late hit, a little late. Okay, and that fucked the Leafs up so bad. It was in March, so they're like trying to make a playoff. They're making the playoffs. Like, they're supposed to be pretty dang good, and I knock out their best player basically with a fourth line dipshit. Knocks out Thomas Cabaret. A late hit, but I was finishing my check. All good. And then 2 weeks later, I had to go up to Toronto and face Wade Belak. And it was so hyped up. I was getting death threats. Oh, like, and I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, let's go. Like, I got it. Hey, you do that shit, you got to pay the fucking piper. And so that just the build up as a kid, going into that building, and then first shift, I laid a guy out. And be like, we didn't cross paths. And then second shift, if you look at the video, McCabe's looking at the dirties, and we just went for 2.5 minutes. And I did pretty damn good. He's trying to kill me. And I did pretty good against him. And we went, and at the end, I was standing up, and I catch him, and it was good. That was my most memorable fight because it put me on the map. Because I was killing guys with hits. And I'm like, okay, you got to fight the big boys. And you better fight these guys if you're going to do that shit. And I did. And it just built your confidence up.
That's awesome. And in Toronto, too.
In Toronto, dude. My teammates knew, because that's the whole storyline. Like, it was so hyped up. And when I went out for warm-ups, the boys had me go first. And they stayed. So I'd cruise around in warm-ups by myself. And they're all like, it's a fun, like, they're just assholes. Which they were laughing because they knew I was going to go do it. They knew I was going to be fine. But like that, it's like, nope, can't go. And I just skipped around by myself getting booed.
Yeah, that happens to all the rookies now. And so that happened to you before any of these guys.
Yeah.
How
the
was
rookies
that?
do it now, but go ahead.
Go ahead. You first. You're the guest.
Well, I was to say that the rookies do that, but like, I wasn't a rookie, and they just wanted the fan. They were just laughing at the fans all over.
Yeah.
Me. And it wasn't like you're being dicks. It was more like, you can handle it. You're a big boy. Go out there and take a lap and take the heat. Pretty cool, actually.
During the fight, how loud was that building? Were they cheering? Were they booing? Was there a mix? They were probably just wild.
You gotta watch it, dude, and listen to the call. Not Doc Emmerich, the Devils call, but whoever the Toronto radio or TV guy was. It's great. Like, sometimes when I get wasted, like, so I'll watch it. We all do that kind of shit. But and it's just, that was the loudest. Then I take all my gear off, in a penalty box and spray water down for the women folk. I love it.
What crowd was louder, that crowd or the Madison Square Garden crowd during the line brawl?
It's so loud to a point you can't hear it. Goes, ee, your ears are ringing. That's when you know you did something cool. You know what I mean? It's like a big goal. Like this, just like scoring a goal, big hit, and the crowd goes crazy. And I always like first shift of the game when I go out there and like the crowd's like, here he is, he's gonna do something. And I'd always try to catch a guy first with a big hit. It was always good to get a big hit and then a whistle. Because you get a big hit whistle, you stand there like, what? And then the whole crowd's like, going crazy after the whistle. It's cool. I miss that attention. I miss that feeling after a good scrap or even a goal. I had 6 of them. They were the most memorable things I've ever went through in my life. But like even after a good fight, like you're just like, let's go. Like you're looking, you see, like playing in St. Louis, I see all my buddies. I'm like, God, it's a good feeling, man.
So what do you do now to get that like attention or competition? Like, are you still working out a little bit? Like obviously you got your radio show, you get a little bit there, but what gets your juices flowing now?
It's a good question, homeboy. That's a good question. I get my rocks off having a good show and laughing my ass off and having the texters and the callers call in and like when people praise you or like you look, I keep my DMs open. And it was just weird, but like when people tell you, fucker, you're hilarious. God, that was a great podcast. God, you were funny today. That was so entertaining. Or hey, Cam, what you said about your addiction, God, it helped me out so much. Like I love that helps a lot. It truly does. There's nothing that can replicate doing what you do. But I was also stressed out at the time, always, because you're just like, am I getting knocked out? Am I getting hurt? What am I doing next? What am I going to do after my career? Blah, blah, blah. But now I'm like my most comfortable. And we got our house. Kate and I live on the golf course. Beautiful. We love it out here so much. We got our puppies. And so like chilling at home, entertaining people still, and working out here and there. I worked out my whole life. I need to do more. But I think the radio podcast and making people laugh and entertaining them, that keeps me going.
That's awesome. That's great that you found something because, I mean, Zach and I have talked about it before. It's sometimes it's hard for pro guys to transition after the game's done, right? You spend so much time in your entire life on this one thing that you love. It's like, what now? So that's great that you found something that gives you that feeling, and that joy, after you're done an episode, because there's probably not a lot of guys that get that. So hopefully, guys that are close to the end of their careers, maybe they'll get to see, hey, Cam's doing this, and maybe they'll get ideas to say, hey, maybe I can go into broadcasting, maybe I can get into podcasting, or just find something else that I'm not just sitting here like, well, fuck.
I will say this though, like not everybody can just get in. Like it's because you're a good hockey player doesn't mean you're good at podcasting. Mm-hmm. Just because you're a good hockey player doesn't mean you're good at radio. Like you got to be a unique breed. You really do. If you want to be successful, you got to be different than everybody else. You know what I mean? But I just, the entertainment thing is like, I do like entertaining people. Here's another thing too. Like, Zach, you made good money. I spent my money, dude. Like I was partying. I didn't make much. I was living like a rock star, trying to, in my own little bubble, I need to work. This better work out. I better be fucking funny. I better be entertaining because I need money to live my lifestyle. Like I don't have 10 in the bank, 20 in the bank. I don't. And so I need to work. So guys now still, if like you're smart, you don't need to rush into anything that you don't want to do if you have a little bit of coin. You could watch your kid grow up and play hockey. You could be a coach and not make money, but you're a coach. You watch your kid. That gets your gets your endorphins going. You don't have to, I gotta go to the podcast, I gotta work. Well, like if you got money, like you could weigh your options back to do whatever you want. You don't have to grind. I had to grind at the beginning, man. At radio, it was kind of weird, some weird stuff. I'm like, oh God. So like, but I'm like, I gotta do it. I gotta find something because I didn't make that much money, and I spent a lot of money, and you know, I need to fucking figure something out here. So everybody's different, but I knew everybody always told me to be on radio when I was playing, because I was doing interviews and trying to, you know, entertaining people and stuff like that. So, but you know, you can't just get a radio and all of a sudden you're making money either. Like, you gotta get sponsors, you gotta deal with the sponsors. People have to listen to you and like you. You gotta toe the edge, but not go too far. There's a lot that goes into it. I'm just gonna do a podcast. Well, is it gonna be successful? You gotta be different. You gotta be different. It's hard to be different sometimes. But Zachy, you made like, you played a while. Like, you're good, right?
Yeah,
you know, like,
I'm
you comfortable.
My 16th year or 15th year coming up, and played in Europe for quite a while. Made some good money over there. So, and then like for me, like I was lucky. I really built my social media the last 5 to 10 years, like while I was playing. I wanted to ask you, like, did you have that following going into your career, or did you just kind of build it like after?
Well, I did. I started Twitter. My agent in like whenever 2010 or something, and I just Twitter. I could talk. I can't spell. Like, I'm not good at like putting sentences together on Twitter. Like I you know, like I'm not comfortable doing that as much as like doing a video like, hey, what's up? It's Cam here. Blah 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 blah. I really do that. You know, that kind of stuff. But no, Lou didn't want me being on Twitter. I stopped doing Twitter. I got in trouble on Twitter a couple times. And it kind of like, I said a couple stupid things here and there, and it just was like, But I just started Instagram and Facebook when I retired. So like 6 years ago. But the Twitter I started, but you have to do it. But man, I got weirded out on that a couple times, and it's kind of like lose interest on Twitter. I use it to like read up on information and stuff, but you found your niche. How'd you get in that? But you follow everybody? Because every time I follow somebody, it says you follow them. Like, how'd you do that?
I actually had a bot. Like early on, it was good. Like, first time I tweeted, I was playing with Carolina at the time. I scored my first goal on Broder against the Devils. Like, tweeted about it, and I remember the head guy for the media, whatever, for Carolina was like, "Is that actually your account? Like, did you just tweet?" And I said, "Yeah." And then they tweeted it out, and I got, you know, a few thousand followers within that day. And then I got traded to Pittsburgh, and I got like 50,000 when I was in Pittsburgh. And then in the summertime, I met a girl, and she was like, "I'm using my Facebook, I'm using my Instagram, I'm using all this stuff for business, and you should really like look into it." Because I didn't like Twitter, I didn't like Instagram, like I didn't like any of this stuff. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at you know, a lot of this different stuff. So I just kind of saw it as like a potential business thing down the road and interacting with fans. So I ended up just building it, and then I realized that you could follow people and they'd follow back. And then I found a bot that was following like 10 to 20,000 people a day for me. So it basically grew my account from 50,000 to almost 1 million within a couple of years. So it was kind of crazy how it all.
What do you mean? What do you mean you found a bot? Like what? Like, what's that mean?
Yeah, I basically went online, like searched like how I can follow people and unfollow people, like different apps, and I found this one that was free. You just click a button and it'll follow like 10 to 20,000 people a day. It was honestly insane. It grew my following into what it is today. And now I'm like a full on like crypto influencer. It's like, it's insane, like how weird it's come around.
So you're a crypto influencer, even after all the weird shit with that Sam Friedman, whatever the hell his name is. Like, what does that mean? Though?
It's not as good now, but you can ask Kyle. Like a year or two ago, a couple summers ago, we were doing pretty well being crypto influencers.
Yeah, we made some good money.
That's great, dude. I love it, man. I like guys. It's always good to like team up and talk to guys that are different. Like, they think, hey, why don't we try this? Like, they're like, hey, we'll try this. Let's explore this avenue. Like, I love that, man. Look what you did, dude. The crypto thing to me though is, I don't. It's so weird how to explain it and how to I just wouldn't touch it. And then that weirdo who I don't know if he's going to go to jail or not, the weirdo down in the Bahamas having those weird orgies with all those ugly people, Sam Friedman. Like, what do you think of that cat? The billionaire.
That's crypto in a nutshell right there. There's so many guys like that just super smart guys, just like have no business having that amount of money and controlling that many people's amounts of funds. And obviously it ended up turning into a disaster, but there's good stories in crypto and there's bad. It seems like you hear a lot more of the bad.
Well, it's easy to hear about bad. People want to talk negative, They want to go after Tom Brady and Shaq or whoever that would. Like, what do you do with those guys? That were like pumping it. I don't know. It's confusing, but I respect you guys thinking outside the box, looking at your popularity, finding ways to improve it, finding ways to make money. Like, it's cool. You got to be creative, man. You got to. Sometimes you play hockey, everything's about hockey, and all of a sudden, like, oh, I got to be an entrepreneur. Just like that. Like, how do you do it? What do I do? Oh, I got to be funny. I got to do this. Maybe I'll get into crypto. Oh, I'm going to use my social media. Right?
The funniest part about Zach on Twitter is when you unfollowed everybody at the same time and just created news stories all over the place. Like, people were making like YouTube
they were talking
videos
about me on like TSN radio, and they were making like YouTube videos about why I unfollowed everybody. It was like a weird few days when that all happened.
What happened with your? Did you lose followers? Losing those followers?
Not really. Like, I used that same bot that I had, and I think I unfollowed 700,000 or 800,000 people in literally, it was like 2 or 3 days, just through like a couple clicks of a button. And it, for whatever reason, like a bunch of big like accounts noticed it. I mean, normally a lot of times I've done it before and nobody's really noticed, but this time it was like all across these like major news outlets and the YouTube videos. It was just like kind of funny.
You use YouTube and monetize YouTube?
I have an account. It's kind of small. Like we're trying to build this podcast account. I think that's like a big avenue for a lot of people. Like you see Chicklets and Barstool and all these. Like if you can somehow get in that algorithm and get enough subscribers, it's crazy. But we stick mostly to like Instagram and Twitter, and Kyle's huge on TikTok. I have zero skills on TikTok, but we're trying to
all you guys. Yeah. I like to. It's good to like hear this stuff, man. Like maybe I should. I like Instagram and I like Facebook because I just post like our clips and stuff. Twitter, I don't like. I like to talk. I'm not good at texting. I'm not good at like. My humor comes out when I talk, not when I type, right? So I'm just not. But if you did a bot just to build up your Twitter, like I'll do that. I don't care. Like build it up, build all of it, help each other build stuff up. Because like the better off you are if I come on here and you come on our podcast, like it helps each other out. Like there's so much money to be made. It's not like, oh, you're big, you're taking away from me. No. There's so many different hockey sponsors. There's so many different things. Everybody's different in each town. If you're good and we know each other and you pump your shit up, like it helps out. There's a lot of people, man, that listen to shit. So we're all different,
For sure.
So, and everybody got to collaborate, I think. You got to work together.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I was just going to say, and everybody consumes the content in different ways too. Like there's some people that will go on YouTube and watch a full podcast, but then there's some people that, maybe just like the clips, like the highlights of it. So, I mean, we found a lot of success in our clips, like Zach was saying on Instagram and TikTok, like few millions of views in the last like couple months since we rebooted the show. And hopefully, YouTube will follow suit, but it's just cool seeing how all these different people, consume the content differently.
Well, there's ways to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just ways to make money, dude. If you have any sort of creativity or you are entertaining in any way, like you could just film yourself and put it on YouTube and make money. Like you really can. It's really that simple. You don't need to have a radio show. You don't need to have. You just need your phone, and you can entertain. Whether you're talking about tornadoes, you're talking about hockey, you're talking about women, doesn't matter. You're cooking and you're an idiot, doesn't matter. You're funny. Okay, where I'm watching you. Like I follow so many people that are just funny cooks. I love cooking. I love barbecuing, dude. And I just follow these guys are fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like I get your humor and you're cooking good shit. You're cool. I'm following you. I'll support you. I'll buy your seasoning. You know?
Yeah, I'm a big I follow a lot of cat pages on TikTok myself, but a lot of
what now? What do you say?
A lot of cat pages, a lot of animal pages on TikTok. There's they get me. Anytime I see one, I'm like, fuck, it's another follow. But no, it's
I'll follow like there's a cute girl has like a spider monkey named Kiki, and she just like she wears like a diaper. She's like and like swings around, and I'm like, that's the cutest fucking thing in the world. I'm like obsessed with it. I watch this little spider monkey, and she has little doggies there too. And she rides on the dogs. I'm like fuck, I can't stop watching that. Like yeah, I'm a tough guy, but I love animals, dude. I'll watch. I'm obsessed with like history and historical like natural disasters that happen. Like I'm just like, how'd that go down? Like the Titanic that's not a natural disaster, but like different earthquakes throughout history. Like I'll read about. I love like read about aliens and like only when military folk talk about it. I'm not listening to some dipshit down in South County say I found it. No. I want military folk. I want Bob Lazar to break that down for me, who worked at Area 51 and Section 2 or whatever it was. I just talk. And I'm like, okay, you don't believe everything, but there's certain things I'm like, I believe you on that. That, and I'm like, that's a little far, but that's that. Like, I just love it. I like Joe Rogan, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
Rogan's one
Watch
of my
how
favorites too.
he's so goddamn smart. He's so smart. And I don't agree with everything he says. And no one should. No one should agree with everything with anybody anyway. That's not how it works. But the way he interviews people and the way he can keep a conversation going, whether it's talking about nuclear physics or space or animals or Biden or whatever, he keeps it going and he'll fact check you. And I love that.
Yeah, what Rogan's been able to build is insane. And he's got to be probably the best interviewer out there, I would say.
Oh yeah, he's up there, dude. There's some good ones. Even Bill Maher is pretty good. Like again, like you got to take everybody with a grain of salt. But no, I love those long, detailed, talking about like Skinwalker Ranch up in Utah, which is just fucking horrifying, scary. This weird stuff. I'm like, gosh, like, do I believe everything? No, but I'm just like curious. Why is the government involved? Did this happen? Interesting. Oh, they made a statement. Interesting. Like it's not all hockey, man. It's not like I have to know what's going on with hockey. Don't get me wrong, but I am interested in a lot of different things, and I think that's healthy, and I think that's attractive to a lot of people.
You said you live on a golf course. Do you play much golf or?
No, I'm not good. I'm the worst golfer that plays a lot ever in life, and I get invited everywhere. I get invited to all these tournaments. People pay me to go to these tournaments, and I suck, but I entertain you. And I get a couple mulligans. Don't tell anybody, but if you draft me, you get a couple mulligans, okay? It is what it is. It's part of the deal. But I'm not good because I drink a lot, you know. I party hard still, kind of. Not on crazy shit like I used to, but I still drink. Like, you know, I have fun, man. I just like to have fun, man. I truly do. I work hard. I get up early. I do my shit. I'll entertain you, and that wears you out. It's like, oh, can't we do stuff? No, it's a work. It's work. Like entertaining people is work, and it wears you out. So I like to have fun. So I get pretty wasted on the course, and I just lose everything. But I still do these tournaments because you entertain me.
Yeah, you're probably a top draft pick in any of the charity tournaments. Everybody wants to play with Cam.
Always, dude. So you raise money for charities. I raise a lot of money inadvertently to charities. I don't like to donate money anymore. I donate my time. I don't make that much money to donate. Like we're comfortable. we're comfortable and happy, Kate and I. But like, I'll donate my time to you, and that's money.
No, we appreciate you taking the time today to come on with us. I mean, I'd love to come on your podcast sometime and kind of do the collaboration thing and see what we can do. But no, we want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, this was great.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, anytime, guys. And I'll follow all your stuff. Give them my number and stuff like that. We'll get you on. Who knows? Like next year, we all need to do, like us and Andy. Where Andy found it, we should probably do some of these. Go down the draft and like sit at a table next to us, so we just like interview people and hang out and mingle. I know it costs money to do that, but I think that's a healthy thing to do for our podcast, to be down there. Like, yeah. I don't want to be that guy, because I don't want to spend the money to go down there and have to. But I think if we keep being successful, like we'll probably have to do that kind of stuff. I see all those guys down there, and we could be hilarious doing it. And just don't want to miss out on everything like that. If you want to build your podcast up, I think.
Yeah, Zach and I were considering going down this week. We're talking to another brand about a deal, but the deal hadn't closed yet, so we decided not to go down. But it would have been great. Nashville, what a place! I heard. I think Chicklets was saying today that it's going to be in Vegas next year, the draft and the awards again. So,
oh boy.
I mean,
let's do it, dude. Let's do it. I'll talk to some of my rich buddies, and we'll get some money gathered together, and we'll make this thing happen.
Maybe we'll get try to get some passes donated to us or something.
Like we're promoting you guys, like we're pumping
exactly.
out the NHL, like aren't we part of it?
Yeah.
Then we play Zachy. We should probably join and get in a mix. But there's a lot of good podcasts out there, man. There truly is, and those guys again, they're dedicated hockey, and I'm kind of like, I'm not into it that much where I'm just like too crazy about it, but it's still in our blood, and if you pay attention, you can talk about anything when it's hockey related.
For sure. Man, thank you again so much for coming on and taking the time. I loved this. This was awesome. This is one of my favorites so far, for sure. I mean, we didn't even need notes. We're just shooting the shit. Those are the best ones. So yeah.
I do, man.
Thank you again, and we'll hopefully we'll get this pod up in the next week or two here. But
let me know.
We'll send you the clips when we post them, and tag you in them too if you want us to. And yeah, man. Hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Cool, guys. All right, man. Keep in
Awesome.
touch. Seriously.
For sure. Thank you, man.